You guys hear about this? That the Democrats have a new plan? There's a new plan. We'll talk about this a bit. The new thing is that supposedly, according to a report that was put together by political geniuses, left-wing ideas have wrecked Democrats' brand. New report warns. Because again, our political future is the right goes further right, while also the liberals need to go further right. Everything needs to go further right. Here's the scoop. I like Semafor because they get right to the point, and life is short. Democrats have badly weakened their party with left-leaning ideas and rhetoric, growing only with self-described white liberals, while losing ground with other voters, according to a new center-left group's report. The way we use left in this country. The group is called Welcome, and they consulted hundreds of thousands over 6 months for its broad findings, including that 70% of voters think the Democratic Party is out of touch. I mean, like, I think that too, but I think it in a different way than maybe what they're trying to say that it means here. I think it in a different way than what they're saying. I think most voters, the group found, believe the party over prioritizes issues like protecting the rights of LGBTQ plus Americans and fighting climate change while not caring about securing the border or lowering the crime rate. I mean, I'm going to make a claim here. I mean, I think if you frame things like an either or between crime or jobs and like trans kids or something, I don't know, it feels like they're setting things up in a way to make people give the shitty answer that they want them to give. But I kind of get the sense, and this is me giving the best faith reading that I possibly can, that for some people, I think what they are saying is not, I don't care about queer people or climate change. I think what I maybe hear them saying when it comes to the Democratic Party, and I'm thinking about the Harris campaign in particular here, is something like, hey, that stuff is cool, but we don't have healthcare and we can't afford to have houses and no one has jobs anymore. And I've been renting for all. My landlord keeps putting the rent up. Also, this country is doing a genocide. Can we do some of that too? Because it does feel like a lot of the messaging offered by the Democrats has been like, we want to make business more queer or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of when they started putting like gay couples in commercials for laundry detergent, it feels like the Democrats saw that and they were like, we're good. We did it. There's now 2 mommies in the Tide commercial. We're done here. Call Francis Fukuyama. We have arrived at the end of history, sponsored by Tide and a commercial with 2 mommies. Because I think when people talk about, again, I'm trying to be as good faith as I possibly can here, but I do think for some people, things like crime and the border, I don't know, it seems like they're really just thinking about jobs because they've been told by right-wing folks that the reason they can't have treats is because people are coming over the border and taking all the treats. That's like dumb. It's not true. But there you go. Let's look at this a little bit more. Elected Democrats are going to receive copies of the report. Yay. It urges party members to abandon some of the progressive language about race, abortion, and LGBT issues that Democrats began using after the 2012 election. And we'll look at the report, but I don't know, man. Like abortion, we're just going to go back on that now. I mean, Ezra Klein for sure. I'm 99% sure of this. I'm not going to pull it up. But I'm not going to pull it up. But Ezra Klein's been talking about that. Now that Tonks is here, I am going to say this again, right here. Best coffee I've had in recent memory. If you've never tried, yes, please do it now. I don't know if you guys still are shipping any of this, but oh my God, me and my wife have been freaking out over this panoramic. It really is, it's reinvigorated our sex life. No, I'm kidding. It's just really good coffee. There's a link in the description. Go check it out. Tonks is in the chat. And yeah, and he also said someone put on Blue Sky this morning that Dems talk much more about how Dems talk too much about trans issues than they actually talk about trans issues. For sure. It's like they talk about talking about things rather than talking about things. It's not some huge issue for the party that they're constantly talking about. But, not circling back, but backpedaling on some of this stuff just feels insane. In 2025, going into 2026, to be like, let's ease up on abortion a little bit. Let's let's tell these broads. Let's tell these broads that maybe sometimes you get abortion as a treat, but you got to be good to daddy first. No, let's not do that. Let's continue to fight for bodily autonomy for women. Let's not say to the LGBTQ plus community, like, listen, you've had your pride, you've got your parties, you went, you got Brat and you got the remix Brat album, you got to go to all the shows, we gave you all of this. Ryan Murphy's making TV shows, we gave you everything, and just shut up and lay back a little bit. Just, stay inside, keep it to yourself. And who knows what they mean by progressive language on race. I assume progressive language on race is stuff like, white supremacy is real, racism is a thing that happens, cops go killing black people, redlining has shaped the economic shape of this country. I don't know. The Democratic Party had better listen, says Sherry Boos. I'm sorry if that's not how her name is really said. I just wanted to say it like that. Inspired by the politics of evasion, an influential 1989 paper that inspired the party's more centrist shift under Bill Clinton. That went well. The centrist shift under Bill Clinton, that went well. It's been a party since then, but he played saxophone. The document argues the Democrats must be willing to break with unpopular party orthodoxies. It does feel, and maybe this will change, like, knock on wood, let's not jinx anything here. It's kind of ironic for this to be the moment that they are making this argument when a relatively far left within the realm of Democratic politics candidate is poised to become the mayor of the largest city in North America. That seems like a big deal. And I know that one can't compare the political demographics and vibe and all that of New York to Wichita, but still, its prescription for getting the party out of the current wilderness isn't simple. Avoidance of both a pivot to corporate centrism and the pursuit of progressive ideology purity. A guy named Schultz worked with Welcome. For the last 20 years, Democrats have just misunderstood how you actually win elections. I thought Biden had proven in the 2020 primary that the base of the Democratic Party is a 58-year-old woman without a college degree. What is her name? What's she up to? But when you hear people in D.C. say the base, they mean white intellectuals that live in a few coastal cities. White intellectuals. I think they're just thinking of people on social media who are definitely not intellectuals. The report directly challenges Democrats' predilection for the interest of highly educated and affluent voters, arguing that their influence may be responsible for the party's closer association with left-wing politics. This is so weird too. This distinction between like ideology and material policy. Damn, Calvin called me out. The biggest city in North America is Mexico City. Yeah, that's what I meant. Zoran is going to be the mayor of Mexico City too. Fucking fact check me. I just kid. But everything here to pull like the Zizek thing, like pure ideology. It's a sense in which what they are talking about and thinking about are ideas and not material policies. Because again, when we say like left-wing politics, I don't think that what the party needs to do is favor the interest of quote unquote highly educated and affluent voters. I also think what they don't need to do is appeal to the sort of like cultural and internet shaped interest of more traditionally working class voters. They need to offer policy programs and solutions that make people's lives better. They need to make people's lives better. Crazy take, I know. Because again, like you look at, and I'll die on this hill, like I think hey, what's up, Artur from Artur from Mexico City. I think that's what CDMX means, right? Mexico City. But Obama killed Bernie's campaign. I'll say it. We can just say it. We should just be able to say that now. The thing that fueled that campaign was speaking directly to people's material needs. It wasn't like more opportunity, business innovation. It was just like, hey, let's give everyone healthcare. Hey, let's pay teachers more. Hey, let's make student debt go away. Hey, let's use a response to climate change as an excuse to make more jobs. In a similar way, it's not like Zoran's campaign has been like gulags for Staten Island, although that could be fun. It's like, hey, let's make buses free. Hey, let's make rent not so expensive. And that's what gets people excited. And it seems like when the Democratic Party or establishment or elites or researchers or think tankers talk about real people, they're talking about a data set. You know what I mean? Because these are just weird guys that live in DC and work for consulting firms on K Street. I don't know if that's right. I just said it because it sounded good. If you're a DC local, let me know. But they work on K Street for these firms where they make more money than any of us, unless one of you is super rich. If so, shout to you. Patreon link is in the chat. Like they don't deal with actual people. They deal with survey data collected by probably a third party company that use some sort of automated technology to outsource the results, and they look at that data and then twist it to sort of fit their sort of their sort of thing. We'll do a little no more. So the report's called Deciding to Win, grew out of discussions that centrist Democrats had last December, yada, yada, yada. Let's see. The report doesn't urge Democrats to move fully to the right, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's funny that the authors write this. We have much to learn from the relentless focus of Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Zohran Mamdani. On those fronts, the authors write, we simply disagree with all of their policies. You know, we think they're good. We think they're great. Bernie, let's go. AOC, you can do it. You know, Mamdani, hey, you and the aunties are chilling. We just hate every single policy they have and think those will alienate the country. The risk they see is Democrats moving left on other progressive policies. Yeah, a bunch of data on how the party is too liberal. We don't like land acknowledgements. Those shifts didn't win votes. Progressives, of course, have their own theories. Do they? About why Democrats started losing at Persuasion 2025. I'm going to be 100% here. What does Persuasion 2025 sound like to you? When you hear Persuasion 2025, what do you hear? Because I hear Swingers Convention. I hear, you know, me and the wife are going to Persuasion 2025 this year. It's pretty fun. You put your room key in a bucket, and a man dressed up like a magician who doesn't do magic tricks picks the key out. They pair you up. You go into a room and you see if you can be persuaded. But that's cool if that's what they wanted to. If they wanted to name a thing that's also cool for them. It was a one-day conference. Strategist Anat Shankar Osorio, I probably said that person's name wrong. Not if you ever seen me in the streets, punch me in the head. I'm sorry. You seem cool. They offered that Democrats were beset by pollingism, which told them that voters had static opinions and responded to messages they agree with. Yes, these people just think that people are data points and poll things, not dynamic human beings who are responding to various conditions in society. It's like when Democrats only understand, or like when political analysts, researchers, pollsters in general create a framework, you know, like a sort of Kantian transcendental framework that says, here's the two options, here's the three options, whatever it might be, and then you pull those options down. Of course, people are going to give a response that fits within those frameworks, but you're not creating space for dynamic human thought. I like humans. This is David's view. David is the author of this piece. He said, it's a major addition to the library of where Dems went wrong. Literature. Let's see. The progressive response to that drift has been economic populism, promising new jobs, and telling voters that Republicans use cultural wedge issues to distract from tax cuts to the rich. They see that remedy as ineffective, and the collapse in split ticket voting in recent elections suggests the group may be right. I don't know. I don't love it. So there you go with that. Now the actual report itself, I can pull that up. This is Joe Biden, who we love. Shout out, we love Joe Biden signs. We're not going to read this whole report because it's really long. It's very long, but we can look at it a little bit. And trigger warning, someone left a comment on one of last week's stream segments and said they can't watch anymore because I drink water too much. I'm going to take one sip of water and I'm going to move away from the microphone so it doesn't bother you. But are you people drinking water? Are you people drinking water? We won't look at this whole thing, but I'll be kind of like messy here. And you can respond to this by saying I didn't read the full report, but I think this is kind of dumb. I think the design of this is cool. It's cool. You use the mouse and you see different colors. The acknowledgements at the front are not land acknowledgements, to be clear. So, you know, if you know me, you know, when you start a report with a Nancy Pelosi quote, I'm all in. I mean, that's like, you got me right there. Shout out The Roots featuring Erica Baju. Winning an election is a decision. You make a decision to win, and then you make every decision in favor of winning. Cool. Cool. Someone said posture check. Now I want to do a posture check as well. Um, well, let's read a bit of their summary. Donald Trump and the Republican Party are damaging our economy and threaten our democracy. Sure, tariffs, bad. We don't like that. Defeating republicanism. That sounds good. I want to defeat them. In order to take Congress back in the presidency, Democrats need to understand the political and strategic landscape we face. I'll say this before I go any further. It's weird again that their whole thing is like, we got to be more centrist. We got to be more. Who is being like radical? What major Democratic politician or party leader is expressing radical opinions? I mean, Hakeem Jeffries, isn't he the highest ranking Democrat in government? I don't know anything. I'm a dumb fucking idiot. But Hakeem Jeffries waited till the last minute to give the most lukewarm endorsement ever for Mondani before his election. Like, these are not a radical people, and the most popular politicians in the party tend to be the radical ones anyways. So I don't know what they're doing here. Goes on to say, deciding to win aims to provide the most comprehensive account to date of why Democrats lost and what our party needs to win again. And here's their changes. We'll just look at the bullet points. And then if you hate yourself, you can go read this report in your own time. I don't think you should hate yourself. I think you should love yourself. It says, to give ourselves the best chance to win, we recommend the following changes to our approach. Democrats need to, one, focus our policy agenda and our messaging on an economic program centered on lowering costs, growing the economy, creating jobs, and expanding the social safety net. So much of this is still in that like bureaucratic, technocratic economic language where everything is about shifts to the market, prioritizing market functions and not prioritizing people, because there's a way that you could take a lot of these same things and say, we want to, create higher wages for people. We want to stabilize or subsidize housing. We want to come up with government funded job programs, but it's still like everything here is, let's feed the market so the market will shine its face upon us. Let's sacrifice some more babies at the feet of the altar of the market so it can help us. Two is advocate for popular economic policies, expanding prescription drug price negotiation. That's what, when I talk to people, they're always like, I just want there to be an expansion of the possibility of the negotiation of prescription drug prices. Do I like that I pay this much for this drug? No. And I wish there was the possibility of the expansion of the potential ability for the negotiation of those prices. Raising the minimum wage, that's good. Rather, here's the unpopular policies. Student loan forgiveness. You know who that's unpopular for? Like everyone's Uncle Dale from Annapolis, Maryland, who posts too much. I think most people are pretty fine with it. Electric vehicle subsidies. I think people dig that. Medicare for all. We have tons of evidence that people fuck with Medicare for all. 3, they want to convince voters that we share their priorities by focusing more on issues voters do not think our party prioritizes highly enough. The economy, the cost of living, healthcare, broader security, public safety, and focusing less on issues voters think we place too much emphasis on. Climate change, democracy. That's funny. They think we talk too much about democracy. Who needs that? I mean, climate change, the planet's going to fucking burn. You got to talk about that at some point. Abortion, I kind of get the sense that a lot of more progressive people want to stop talking about abortion precisely because they just want to make it a thing that we're not debating and discussing. They're just like, yo, let's do the bodily autonomy for women thing. Let's just have that be the thing. And then whenever it says identity and cultural issues, I don't know, to me that reeks of just sort of like, you guys have had your turn. Let's shut up and let the big kids be in charge. Like, so many identity and cultural issues are just like, hey, can we chill on the systemic, racism and transphobia and structural conditions that have made it such that our society is white supremacist in its core? Can we chill on that a little bit? But whatever, moderate our positions where our agenda is unpopular, including issues like immigration, public safety, energy production, and some identity. I'm not going to read the full report, but I'm curious if they ever say what these identity and cultural issues are. But also, like, I don't know, man. I don't want to say too much. Embrace a substantive and rhetorical critique of the outsized political and economic influence of lobbyist corporations and the ultra wealthy. Sure, while keeping 2 considerations in mind. Oh, this is going to be good. First, voters' frustrations with the status quo are not the same as a desire for socialism. Like you said, socialism report. You said socialism. And second, criticizing the status quo is a complement to advocating for popular policies on the issues that matter most to the American people, not a substitute. Here's what I love about this is that if you knew nothing else, you would have almost no idea what political or human principles this party stood for. Everything is based on popularity. It makes me think of times in my life where I was very insecure when I was a younger human. In like middle school, high school, I wanted girls to like me and they didn't. And my thought was, how can I do all this stuff that my data shows me that girls like, rather than leaning into a version of myself that was grounded in some set of principles and interest? And if any incel boys are watching today, hi, I'm Michael. Glad to have you here. Um, I started having a lot more success in the dating realm when I just got into things that I thought were interesting and became a person. You know, that's where I was. I didn't have to look max. I learned what look maxing was. Looks maxing, look mac. I learned what looks maxing was recently, and that made me want to die a little bit. But you know, you can read the deciding to win report if you want. You probably shouldn't. You probably should do anything else. You should probably do a little bit of drugs and watch a movie. But I'll put the link in the description right down there. Hey, thanks for watching this. In case you didn't know, I have a main channel where I post video essays and stuff like that. It's just called Michael Burns. There's a link. Would love for you to check that out. If you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon. You can also hit up either of my beverage partners. There's Yes Please Coffee, who make the best gosh darn coffee in the world. You get 15% off with the code Burns Beans. And of course, my beloved new non-alcoholic beer sponsor, Years Beers. It's really good. There's a link below, and if you use it, you get 10% off your first order. So thank you so much. And if you ever want to watch these streams live, I'm live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. Okay, now now it's really over. So now you can go. I'm going to finish this. Now it's over. I'll see you guys for the next one.